doing a rouse around open mic night, so please make some noise for Luke Miller.
Knowledge is power, but true power comes from wisdom. The pen is the mighty power that will free us from these isms, the isms that erase capital and communists. But the people that control the game, they say that ignorance is bliss. But who do you think it is that makes up these stupid sayings? I'll give you a clue, they're fully invested in delaying our evolutionary progress, unlocking the power of our thoughts. But the collective consciousness is expanding. If you let nature run its course, because of course the thoughts you think will have a significant effect. We have an ignorant nation mistaking academia for intellect, because memorising facts doesn't make a man wise. The emperor's back in the room and he has a new disguise, because the lies we are told is that if we don't go to school, that we have no hope in life. But guess what? You've been fooled. Some of the wisest men and women, they can't even read and write. Take a flight to Peru and meet the Amazonian tribes. Take a trip down to Egypt, meet the wise men of the desert, the savages, uncivilized, the people we call peasants, while we exchange presents for Christmas smeared in third world blood. Around polite table talk, firm handshakes and empty hugs, we're the thugs. We're just walking around in a big bubble, but the bubble's ready to burst. We'll realise the trouble we have caused with the wars we support and even idolise. I think it's about time we realise that war has two sides, and both of the sides have families with men, women and children. Just because they look a little different, you don't label them as victims who are slaughtered at the hands of a nice civilised white armies who are fighting for our freedom so these terrorists can't harm me. But terrorism is not as prevalent as you might think it is, unless we redefine terrorism as us as the ones committing it, because we're wisdom illiterate, being force-fed half-truths and lies, taking a can of black spray paint, trying to cover our third eye, and they can try to keep oppressing all of the people. But the horns are locked in the eternal battle of good and evil, but it's hard when you don't know who's evil and who's good. Sometimes I wish I could change this game, I really wish I could, because we need intellectual food to feed the 5,000, plus the other 7 billion, because the people we call terrorists, for generations we've been killing them, and that doesn't make them good guys or justify their actions. But for after decades of abuse, you can expect some kind of reaction. Just for a minute, put yourself into their shoes. A 5-year-old boy and Americans are shooting you. They gun buck your mum and zip tie your whole family. Would you think in your head these guys are giving us democracy? Then we wonder why groups act a little bit dysfunctional. I'll give you a clue. It has to do with our control of the global economy and collective point of view. Media's systematic oppression showing the difference between us two. Because there's one group that's dark and one group that's light. Their group's wrong and our group's right. So let's start fights and wars we can't manage, butcher millions of families, but they're just collateral damage. And the perpetual cycle continues to the next generation. If we ever want peace, we need to unite all nations. And even if we don't unite, we could just leave them alone in the ground, leave the oil, diamonds and minerals for our phones. Thank you very much.